So today, the topic is a fresh perspective to leading self in digital era. Now, the word that we are living in, as Vijesh was talking about earlier, is changing and evolving, right? And the question is, what does that mean to us as leaders at personal and professional level, right? Some of the questions that we will try to answer in the session today are something like, why are some people more successful than others? Why are some people more happy than others? What is leadership? Why is mindfulness required today more than ever before? Do you know which is the most liked tweet ever? Now, the most liked tweet ever was tweeted by Barack Obama about 3 years ago. This was right after the Charlottesville racial riots in US. And he tweeted this message from Nelson Mandela, which goes something like this. No one is born hating another person based on the color of his skin, his ethnic background, or his religious background. They must learn to hate. If they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, because love comes more naturally to human heart than its opposite. Now, what this means is that we're going to be talking about leadership based on aligning our life with who we are. Now, everybody talks about you must follow your passion, but the question is how. Everybody talks about, you need to align your life with who you are. And everybody knows that, but the question is how. So in this session today, we will talk about why and what, as well as the how of these things. We will give you some tips and tools and a framework to get started on the journey. And as I said, it is a journey. It is not something that you can do in the next couple of hours or a day or a week. But what we promise you to do in this session today is to get you started, give you some tips and tools to get started on that, and we'll be on the journey. Now, before we get into that, let me just set the context for what we mean by digital era. And it's not something that you don't know, but I think it's important for me to set the context as we move forward. So there are three aspects of digital era that I want to talk about. So number one is that it is an era of distraction. Now, today, we are bombarded with 4 to 5 times more information than we did just about 10 to 20 years ago. Today, our attention spans are going down dramatically. According to one research, the human average attention span has come down from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. And you know what the attention span of a goldfish is? It is 9 seconds. So you got it right, that the human average attention span has come down to below that of a goldfish just in the last 10 years. So the first casualty of digital era, in our view, is that our ability to focus on what we want to focus on has been seriously hampered. And we're going to talk about how to deal with that, right? The second aspect of digital era is it is an era of disruption. Now, the Uber connectivity, which is obviously giving us a lot of advantages and a lot of benefits, and emerging technologies are obliterating traditional business models faster than ever before. And it is impacting every industry. There is no industry that is not impacted by that. According to one statistics, 40% of the Fortune 500 companies today will not exist in the next 20 years. 48% of the jobs today will not exist by 2030. So when we look at these statistics, we nod and we smile at it and we say, yeah, we agree with it. But at the same time, somewhere at the back of our minds, we feel that it's happening to somebody else. It's not happening to us. But trust me, it's happening to all of us. And what COVID-19 crisis has done is it has just accelerated some of these changes and some of these things. So it is creating a very different level of stress, anxiety, and fear amongst all of us, whether we realize it or not. And the question is, how do we deal with that on a daily, personal basis? The third aspect of digital era that I want to highlight is that we are living in an era of paradoxes. Would you agree that we are probably one of the most comfortable of all the generations ever. The lifespans for human beings is highest, longest ever. The infant mortality rates are lowest ever. We got cure for most of the diseases that used to kill millions of people in the past. But does that mean that we are happy and fulfilled? Absolutely not. The rate of depression is highest today than ever before. The youth suicide rates across the globe is higher than ever before. So we are living in an era of paradoxes. Today, everything is more efficient than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. Because that's what the technology does, right? It makes things more efficient. The things that took a longer time earlier, we are able to do much faster today. And today we have more tools for tool management, for time management than ever before. We have more tools for time management today than ever before. But does that mean that we have more time at our hands? Do you think we feel that we have a lot more time at our hands than we did, let's say 10, 15, 20 years ago? Absolutely not. And this is the era of paradoxes that we are talking about now. So we are calling it the digital era. Some people call it the Industrial Revolution 4.0, right? Now, what that means is that we have had Industrial Revolution 1, Industrial Revolution 2, Industrial Revolution 3, etc. So the mankind has been able to get past each one of those major revolutions and major changes, right? So the question is, what is it that is so different about the changes that we're facing today that we need to take it differently? So the question for you is, what is so special about the changes that we are facing today that is different from what we have faced earlier?